Okay, then, let's go to our next story. You know, in politics, Machiavellianism is associated with the doctrine of moral expediency and deviousness in political actions. Now, whereas Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is bent on pursuing his presumed certificate forgery matter against President Bola Tinubu, the president's United States attorney, Wole Afolabi, insists the former vice president is wasting his time over the academic record released by the Chicago State University, CSU. Now, the record cannot help his case in any way, the lawyer added. On the other hand, Atiku says only the apex court can end his fight with President Tinubu. True, politics, according to the late Chinese leader Mao Zedong, is war without bloodshed. But before we start the discussion, let's share the story about the perspectives of President Tinubu's lawyer with you. Watch this now.
For weeks, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, mounted a legal battle for the release of President Bola Tinubu's academic record in the United States. On the 19th of September, a U.S. magistrate, Jeffrey Gilbert, granted Atiku's request and ordered Chicago State University to release President Tinubu's academic record. After the president's appeal against the order, a federal judge, Nancy Maldonado of the United States District Court for Northern Illinois, overruled President Tinubu's objections and ordered the university to release the academic record. The university released the documents to Atiku, which contained President Tinubu's admission record and transcript, confirming that he attended the institution from August 1977 to June 1979. In response to Atiku's request to release a copy of the diploma, the university said the certificates matched the format presented by President Tinubu. But the academic record released by the university stirred more controversy, and Atiku, at a press briefing in Abuja, vowed to fight on.
We must entrust these facts to us all as citizens and as leaders of the institutions charged with interpreting our Constitution.
President Tinubu's lawyer, Wole Afolabi, who was at the forefront of the legal battle in the United States, offered some insight into the issue. Featuring on TVC News current affairs program Politics Tonight, Afolabi berated some section of Nigerians for causing bad blood about the issue.
I was harassed by officials of the school. It was a clear case of transferred aggression. I have lived in this country for, what now, 26, 27 years? Not once that anyone called the cops on me. 2 cops were called on me that day. 2. If I had a record, I would have been on my way to jail. They ran my record. Why? Because they said that Nigerians had been harassing them.
He insisted that President Tinubu had nothing to hide, as all the documents pointed to the fact that he attended the institution, some clerical errors notwithstanding.
What is important is that the information is correct. But even at that, they still make mistakes, which Mr. Westberg alluded to. I mean, there's no perfect human being anywhere. We're not machines. Even machines do make mistakes. The president did not pick up the one that he applied for subsequently, but he had the one that was issued to him originally, and that was what he submitted to INEC. And Mr. Westberg said very clearly that when President Tinubu applied to CSU for admission, he checked off the box, mail. When CSU issued its letter of admission to the president, he was addressed as Mr. Tinubu. Now, he said that the courses, because they got the transcript, the courses that the person who studied at Southwest College took were similar to what the president studied at CSU, being accounting. That was why it was easy, or relatively easy, for him to attain the highest honor grades possible at CSU. He graduated with honors.
Afolabi said Atiku is just chasing shadows as he failed to prove forgery allegations against President Tinubu.
You have to plead particulars of forgery, and you have to prove it. So how do you in your petition, there was not a single mention of CSU. Not a single mention of CSU in the petition.
President Tinubu's lawyer insists that Atiku is wasting his time over the academic record released by the Chicago State University.
The evidence that they have, what is considered nothing bogus. I mean, is as I said earlier, you can't do anything with this. That is on the merit.
Reacting to the decision of Atiku and his legal team to present the academic record at the Supreme Court, Afolabi said the document cannot help their case.
The door is shut permanently. It's over with. You can't bring it in. You cannot. Once you fail to bring it in, I mean, I'm talking about the stricter provisions of the Electoral Act now. Once you fail to get it in, at the time you commenced your action, within 21 days of the occurrence of action.
He ended with a note of warning to Atiku to desist from brandishing a moral compass about the issue.
I mean, this country is too big for any one man to say, if things don't go my way, let it go up or up in flames. We're talking about the court system in America, in Chicago, being fair, doing this, doing that. But we didn't hear that in the William Jefferson saga. We didn't hear that when allegations were made that $40 million were laundered through accounts controlled by Vice President Abubakar Atiku's wife.
As the legal battle shifts to the Supreme Court, Nigerians wait with bated breath for the conclusion of this saga.
What more can I say? What comes to mind now is the saying of Niccolo Machiavelli. If you remember, he says, politics have no relation to morals. That's on the one hand. Yes. Whereas Napoleon is saying, in politics, never retreat, never surrender, never admit a mistake.
And I think the Nigerian politicians have chosen to listen more to Napoleon Bonaparte, you know, because even when it is glaring, they are approaching a dead end. The Nigerian politician doesn't give up. He believes that somehow he will win, even when it is as apparent as daylight that is going nowhere. We've seen in this same country, Supreme Court gives a judgment. The Supreme Court is not permitted to review its own judgment. It's not permitted by law to revisit a judgment that it has given. Except
otherwise
where,
to reverse
except
itself.
where the mistake is from their end, whether the mistake is clerical in nature. They can withdraw that judgment and make amends. But they are not permitted to reverse a decision that they had made. It's not permitted by law. But we've seen politicians believing that they have so much money to throw around and they have money to give lawyers. They will tell their lawyers to approach the Supreme Court with a view to reviewing a decision that the Supreme Court had made. Amina, our JSC, burst into tears that she never believed that even senior lawyers would get involved in such heresy, approaching the Supreme Court to reverse itself. So what do you expect? If we have politicians who can approach the Supreme Court to tell it to to review a decision that it has taken, that should tell you that we have politicians who will not give up at anything. Somebody well beaten in an election, the people don't want you. They did not vote for you, but you will still get up to Supreme Court believing that you can use the Supreme Court or the judiciary to circumvent the will of the people. This is what we are seeing. What Atiku is doing now reflects the caustic nature of Nigerian politics.
Machiavellian.
Very caustic nature. Atiku is at the point, what I would describe as the end of the road politically. At his age, I do not think that he can come back as a presidential candidate. Certainly not in PDP. There are people waiting in the wings who will make sure that this time around. He was lucky the other day to get their ticket because Tambuwal stepped down at the last minute, and Tambuwal announced against the procedure, announced that they should vote for him. They allowed Tambuwal to come back after he had addressed the people. You are not allowed to address the delegates twice.
The second time.
But they bent the rule for him to come back so that I can tell them vote for Atiku. Otherwise, Atiku will not have won that primary election. And I can bet that the next, in 4 years, it will be a lot more difficult. Whatever the people taking money from him say to him, because I know that when it comes to pursuing his ambition, his level of stubbornness is unheard of. He believes that somehow he will be president of Nigeria one day. But it is God that enthrones kings. Whatever you've been told by mere mortal, it is God that enthrones kings. And if God says you are not going to get there, you will waste money, tire, and you will still not get there. So looking at what is done, first and foremost, it is clear that you cannot, what you did not front load, evidence that you did not bring at the lower courts, you cannot take before the Supreme Court. This is the tradition. The Supreme Court would not change its tradition because of an individual, because it's just one person. He has not got two heads. So this is the thing. Even at the level of appeal, because what those superior courts do is simply to look at the evidence provided at the level of the lower court and determine whether the lower court erred in law. Their duty is to review the judgment that the lower court made. They don't listen to witnesses. Supreme Court has not got a witness box. So are you thinking of bringing someone from America to come and argue that, oh, this is actually forgery? In any case, criminal law is by nature territorial. What is a crime in U.S. may not necessarily be a crime here. Ask our former Attorney General. He tried to jail Orena over what Orena was writing in was Saga reporters. But he failed because of the issue of jurisdiction. And Saga reporters is domiciled in the U.S.
Yes.
So it's only over there that they can actually put
and
him
the
on
law
trial.
jurisdiction is key.
That's why I'm saying that criminal law is by nature territorial. So that is even assuming that somebody forged his own certificate duly given to him by his university. And the Americans have said, look, as far as we are concerned, these certificates are ceremonial. What we value the most is your transcript. Tinubu was hired because he scored high honors. He got high honors. They've told us that, oh, he submitted somebody else's result. Oh, from Southwest. So how come he scored good grades? At least his teachers could know that they were relating with a man. And the admission letter showed that he's a man. Yet they are still talking about he's female, he's this and that. And you see people even in TV stations talking about female, despite the fact that the school said the person that we gave that certificate to is the current president in this country. The person who owns the transcript is the current president of Nigeria. They know who they gave it to.
Okay.
And they also said that, in fact, by America, the tradition in America is for schools to get third parties, vendors to print certificates for people. That's more like division of labor. They are busy with other things. So it's not a new thing. In America, people even print their checks. As long as you have money in the account, you can access the money.
And you are permitted by law to do.
Yes, the bank will not take you to court that you printed a checkbook that looks like their own. As long as the money is there. Did we not hear of even MKO?
I mean, when he was alive, he used to
MKO
sign
writing on
paper.
ordinary paper, and banks will honor it. So a lot of us, we've been in Nigeria for so long, we can't even open our brains to accommodate things that are not Nigerian in
Do
nature.
you blame us? Tunde, in this wise, Atiku is saying only the Supreme Court will settle this matter.
Well, I think...
But mine is, I hear somehow that in politics, enmity and friendship are not permanent.
Well, it depends on how you look at it and to what extent, if the battle has become a personal war, like it is.
I think it has become, yes.
It has become a personal war.
It has become a personal
Because it has gone beyond the limit of what a reasonable person can do. So when it becomes personal, you buy used to say that we cannot go to court and come back and become friends again.
Yes.
One is not saying that they should not do that. But what I find intriguing about this whole matter and those who are supporting illegality is that, you see, William Asser said something. He said, to be ignorant of one's ignorance is the malady of the ignorant. When you are ignorant of the law, or the concept of the law, and you are standing against the law, it means you stand convicted to lose your battle. Most of them are ignorant of the comments they are passing. And that I want to believe that in spite of the level of exposure or education of the litigant in this aspect, he allowed
He doesn't have so much education.
Let us assume that he has become vice president of Nigeria for 8 years and he has been a businessman. Let us assume that he got, by default, he got those exposure. That you
He has
allow
exposure,
yourself-
but not so much education.
But you allow your lawyers, because the essence of going to study law in school is to make a living,
That's
either by
it.
crook or crook, either by turning white into black, to tell you that where there is no proof, they can convince the jury that there is a proof, and you part with your money. That means those people are supposed to live on you for as long as your ambition remain unrestrained.
Yeah.
That is what is happening to Atiku now. Lawyers will continue to live on him in as much as he refused to allow logic and reason to prevail.
Yes.
So those lawyers will continue to feed fat on him.
It's boom time for the lawyers.
Look,
Oh, yeah.
let me
I hear
in
they
a
are in
family-
season.
In a family, if your father is a lawyer and you are doing family prayer in the meeting, none of the members of the family will say that we will not see case. If they don't see case, they will not eat.
Or they will not see Lejo.
And they will not see Lejo. So that is the thing. And I want to end it with a song by Sonny Ade, because this is apparent. He said, he who that God has given, told him that, look, you are wrong. And
God has
still
passed
doing like
judgment
this.
on
He
you.
has passed judgment on you, and you are still saying that.
Where would you
after
take
God,
your
where
would you take your case? Where is the appeal going to?
I think that he should have saved himself this particular trauma and drama, because at the end of the day, there's something they call in Yoruba, which is a topic for another day. They say, Shoroye. He who has
He
seen
says,
the crown,
"Shoroye now."
you will see the crown like this, but you will never get to the crown
Ojú ló fi rí.
because of the way you are going about it. And I believe that if God destines somebody that is going to be a president, nobody can become a leader in all the spheres of life without God knowing about it.
Yeah.
But when you now think that with the support of lawyers, you can turn black into white.
But there's a caveat today. You must play, even at that, you play by the rules.
You play by the rules.
The rules are
And
there.
like the Chief Judge said, it is the Constitution of Nigeria that will be used to determine any case in court,
Yes.
not the emotions
That's
of
it.
public opinion.
Not the public
of
opinion.
Nigerians.
And in this
Because
case, this public opinion is
it's a
even
mob opinion.
opinion of the
Mob.
minority, the
A-
noisy
a
minority.
very tiny minority.
I said yesterday, people in northern Nigeria, for example, how many of them do you see on social media
They are
making all this
making
noise? But they are very active when it comes to voting. They outvote the rest of us. Those Kano people, for example, Katsina, they outvote the rest of us. But you don't see them make all that noise. The people who are behind Atiku, queuing up behind Atiku, baying for blood, they are not the majority. They are just the irritable minority
Busybody.
making all the noise, believing that, okay, something will come out of their wall of noise. But a wall of noise does not translate to electoral victory, does not translate to judicial victory. No. So I think that Atiku the press conference was just meant to distort the findings of the CSU because they authenticated the certificate. Atiku said that they should confirm to him whether, when he made those demands, whether the funds was the funds in
Consistent,
the certificate that Tinubu gave INEC was consistent with the other certificates issued by the university after 1979. And they confirmed that the fonts were similar. The fonts were consistent. They confirmed that. They also confirmed to you that the person that owns that transcript, because you are not you asked for his transcript. We have not seen your transcript to know how brilliant you are. Some of the people make all this noise. They can't willingly release their transcripts because we will see that in school they will never do well.
In transcript, it's even supposed to be a transaction between the authority using it and the school.
Yes.
You want to go to school in America.
That's an invasion of privacy.
Your school to send transcript to that institution.
But
it's a private document.
As an aside, Tinubu had a job with Mobile for years. And nobody faulted his papers. Could he have been with a giant, like Mobile?
This is the first time in my life, and God is my witness, that somebody who passed through university, got his certificate, graduated with high honors, high honors. The school recognizes him. The school parades him as one of their graduating students. You will accuse him of forging what belongs to him. Forging what? When you want forgery means altering a document.
That's it. Yeah.
What is it? Can you prove that he has altered his certificate? Did he add anything that was not there? Some have compared it to even Mesoma. Mesoma altered the results. What is the evidence that you have that that certificate was altered? Even after they confirmed to you that the fonts and everything was similar to the others that they found.
Do you know that?
You understand?
Do you know that on the matter of Obi, just to confirm him, Obi never at any point in time during the trial, the Appeal Court disclosed that all the votes he got were altered. That one never came out. So how come the votes became a stolen mandate? Because if they were altered and from EC8, it is that it still remains the most authentic way to prove everything. Right from
the primary source.
Regardless.
It still remains the
Atiku wants to lay the foundation.
How could you get the sum total that you got and you never queried the sum total?
Atiku wants to lay the foundation for his application that he wants to bring before the Supreme Court. So all of this gara-gara is meant to just lay that foundation. That is the goal. And he went extremely personal, saying Tinubu didn't support him against Yaradua and all that. All of you were in the PDM together. You are all Shehu Musa Yaradua's boys. You said he did not support you. So it means that he formed a party for you so that you can be presidential candidate when Obasanjo frustrated you out of the PDP and you are going from court to court. You see, they say, that's why some of us hate politics so much.
Yes, because of lies.
Because you cannot call a person who goes to this extent against you a friend.
A friend, you cannot.
But what can disappoint or the way politicians are is that we may see Tinubu and Atiku hugging each other. Nobody can go to this extent against me. I will never talk to him again.
Today, I want you to, what will be your last take here? Politics is a struggle for power. So Atiku is doing what he should do as a politician.
Well, I think that if you are looking for power, that power must be to a particular end, which will benefit the people. But I don't think...
You have to play by the rules.
You have to play by the rules. But I don't think by the way somebody will go to this extent to satisfy
This is pure blackmail.
It is pure blackmail and vendetta that has no root.
Because he didn't support you against Yaradua?
Vendetta that has no root. Because
Atiku should even be ashamed that he went all the way back. It's a 2007 matter. He went all the way to bring that up. You will know that this is purely a personal matter.
Please.
And the fact that he thinks this is
time is tight.
We must go.
Time is tight. We must go. But I can only hope that the Supreme Court will put paid to this wahala on the ground.
Of course. And before, latest December 6, the judgment, they are not going to, the Supreme Court, there's no room for all of that drama, where you go and dump huge documents on the court, where you bring TV monitor to show ordinary press conference. That will not happen at the level of Supreme Court. No witness.
Okay, we are done. That will be all for today. Our business is just to provoke a debate, based on the facts available to us. Let me thank Jide one more time for coming.
Thank you.
Tunde,